And we're going to start right here. The pie chart right here is great if you have one row or one column. The most common one is this one right here. It is the bar, column and bar chart. They do really well to show comparisons this year versus last year, this month versus last month, and so on. Now these two are, this is the line and the area charts, and they're good at showing changes over time. You have to be a little bit careful that you have it so that, for example, the light blue is in the background, the dark blue is in the foreground. If you were to reverse it, you couldn't see one of these, so you have to be careful when you do the areas. And since this workbook came from the internet, it's not going to show all the information on it. So I'm going to click on it. I want you to select it, and then up here you will see the contextual menu. So I'd like you to click on Design, and then right here where it says Select Data, go ahead and click on that. And we're going to select this data right here. Just select it until you get the marching ants around it. And it tells you it's the charts page, exclamation point, and it gives you the range. And we'll click OK. So now we have it so that the blue covers up the other one. So let's make a change so that we can see both values. We'll click on this, go to Select Data, and let's take the B value and move it up. So now we have B before A, and earlier we had A before B. I'll click OK, and you can see them. So I'm going to do that one more time. Click on it, select data. I can take the B and I can move it down, so now it's AB, and you can see that it covers over the other side. And if I select right here and move it up, you can see it. And once again, we don't have the data range in here, so let's make sure it's in there. I want to select it, so the blinker is in the chart data range, and select it right here. So now we have everything we need. Except this is A and B, so let's just make that A, come down there, and now we can see it. Okay. There are other things you can do with a chart. For example, I can select the chart and go to one of these circles on the end and hold down the left key and drag in and make the chart a lot smaller. And hold on to it and drag it out. If I want to move it to another sheet, I will come over here, click on this icon right here, and then I can move it to another sheet. But if I want to move it within this sheet, I can simply drag it. So while it's selected and I look for the arrows in 4 different directions, I can drag it somewhere. You'll see these boxes to the right, and they just give you more choices. We'll click on this one, and if I wanted a chart title, I can click that. I have chart title options, axis title, data table, and so on. I'm going to undo those. This gives me choices of other styles. Say I wanted this style instead, or this style. I can quickly pick another style. I'll stay with the original. And the filter allows me to filter out categories. Go back up here, and I'm going to turn off the data labels. Now we have Italy, Brazil, France, Germany, Israel, and Japan. What I'm going to do is select those, and I want to change the size because I think that lettering is awfully small. We can see it's at 9 points. So let's just make it bigger, and then we can see it better. So that's simply selecting it and clicking the large A, or you can click this and choose another size. Well, we'll keep it at 11. Of course, you can change the font color and the usual things that you can change by selecting, going to the home ribbon, and choosing whichever color you want. I'm going to get rid of this. Now let's talk about editing. While it is selected, I'm going to drag this over here so you can see it, and we'll select Design. This also gives you a lot of other possibilities of how it could look. You can change the colors. We'll keep it the way it is. You can switch rows and columns. I'm going to click that. You can change chart type. So let's say we don't want that chart type. It's hard to imagine a better chart type for this. We'll just keep it where it is, column. Actually, I liked it better how it was before. Almost any part of a chart, you can select it, right-click for a contextual menu. So for example, right here, we can select on this and right-click and choose Format Data Series. Let's just say the gap width is 150%. Let's make it 50%. And click Enter. And you can see how the width changed. You can even overlap things. You can change things. For example, I wanted things to look like pyramids instead of a box, cylinders, and so on. Lots and lots of choices. We said earlier to resize the chart is just to grab one of these handles and drag in and move it around. You can change chart type by selecting it and coming up to change chart type, and gives you all different kinds of possibilities. Okay, in this part, we're going to select non-adjacent data. So I want you to select it, come over to Design, and select Data. I want you to hold down the Control key and just drag over different parts. So now I have all these countries in A, C, and E, and we're going to click OK. And you can see how that reduced all of the numbers in there. Let's do that again. We'll select it, select Data, delete what you've got in there, and this time let's just select Italy and Brazil and D and E. So we only want A, D, and E, and Italy and Brazil. We'll click OK, and you can see how that reduced the chart. You can remove a data series, and if you select it, you can say, I don't want to see Brazil or France or Germany in here, and I'm not interested in A and B. So you can reduce things quite a bit in the Select Data dialog box right here, and you can make the changes by clicking on or off these features. And now here's something kind of fun. It's the exploding piece of pie. We'll select it, make sure the data is selected. It's not, so we'll select it right here. Remember, with a pie chart, you just need one row or one column, We'll click OK. Now it's possible to pull out one of the pieces of pie if you want to demonstrate it. So it's a little bit hard to do because they all want to pop out. So sometimes if you pull from the center, you can get one slice out. And you say, well, this is sales, or this is whatever, and you can say, this is what we're going to talk about. The exploding pieces of pie. Another thing I want you to see is the different types of charts. Like this would be an area chart or a timeline chart, and you can see that the values, say the values of dark blue, this starts at 3 here, and it starts at 3 here. The thing of it is that the blue one adds to the value of the blue, whereas the blue one here starts at 7, and this is the actual value of the blue. So you have to be aware that, for example, this chart right down here has an additive value, whereas this chart has the actual literal value. And so that's sort of the difference between some charts. Now I will show you how to insert a chart. Here is our data. Let's select the data as well as the headers along the top and along the side. Then go to the Insert tab, select it, and it's a good idea to use Recommended Charts. So I'll click on it, and based on the data that I've chosen, it gives me a variety of charts. Here's some column charts. Here's bar charts. I can select that and drag it over here so you can see it easier. We may want more information on here, so data labels are a good idea. Let's select the plus sign and choose data labels. And you can see these numbers, 55, 33, 64. Here it is 55, 33, 64, and so on. But you may not want it to look this way. So let's just select data labels again, and let's select the arrow to the right of it. This time we can say we want it on the inside of the end, the inside of the base, the outside, data callouts, and of course there are more options than that. So the nice thing about data labels is that you get to choose. If I decide I want a different chart, I will select it, come up here to Design, and change chart type. I think I want to go with columns, and click OK. If I want to change the colors, I can click on this, and I just may have a different set that I want to go by. If I don't like the chart title, I can select that, and right there it says chart title. I will deselect it, and it's gone. Data labels are always good. And if I wanted to add the table, which is right here underneath of it, I could add it right there. May not want that since it's nearby, but you can add that. I can select any part of it for a contextual menu that gives me even more choices. So for example, I'll select right here and right click. Right at the bottom it says Format Plot Area. Click on that, and right there I can choose Fill and Gradient and so on. Lots of choices. If I wanted to select this area right here and right click, Format Data Series, that gives me another set of choices. And of course I can select this area right here, and it gives me other design ideas. And when I want to get rid of it, I can select it I usually like to select by the edge and hit the delete key. And it's gone. Suppose I wanted to insert a particular type of a chart. I can choose right over here, and let's just say I want this type of a chart, but as you can see, it doesn't have any data in it. So I will have to immediately go right over here where it says select data and choose it. And then I select it like this, and I have my chart. Let's make a few changes to this data. I'm going to select the chart, come to design, and select data. Let's switch row and columns. So right now I have A, B, and C, which is A, B, and C right here. I'm going to switch it. So now I have Italy, Brazil, and France. Let's just say I want to get rid of Brazil. I'm going to deselect it and click OK. And you can see the change. Italy here and France here. So what I did is I switched the rows and column, or I could select this and switch row and column. I can switch it back. Either way works. If you want to change the background, select whatever area you are interested in and right click and choose Format Plot Area, or whatever's at the bottom of this list. And it's a contextual menu and you can change things. So right over here, we could say we want solid fill background. We can change the color. I don't know if that was a good idea. Let's change it to green. You could have a gradient, which is always nice looking. The main thing I want you to know is that you can right select any area, right click it, take Format Data Series, whatever is at the bottom, and then change it. If you want these to overlap, you can just change that. And you can see how that just overlapped right there. And this covers the basics of charts. Thank you.